Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to 4-Digit World Cup. We are here with the semi-finals matchup. Our 9th seeded Team France versus 10th seed Team China. They will be facing off today for a chance at, I believe, the winners bracket, or the losers bracket final. So they'll have 2 matches this weekend. This will be the first of 2. Winner of this match will be facing off against the winner of South Korea versus Romania. For those of you that are wondering what to watch right now and what not to watch, if you check the schedule, you'll notice that there are 4 matches ongoing right now. On our main stream, we'll have Russia versus Australia. On the B stream, we have Germany versus Indonesia. On the C stream, which I believe is taking place over on twitch.tv/Malteser, we will be having South Korea versus Romania, and then, of course, here, France versus China. So all matches ongoing. You will know all of the losers bracket matches by the ending of this block within the next hour and a half or so. But France versus China over here. Team France, captained by Mize JD, joined by Fie Kalungi, Lank Noir, Xiao Mai Mami, Flavin Nessie, and KC Aqua. Team China, once again captained by Lolol235, also known as David Q2, joined by Lolol234, Kurumi, Z Numbers, JJ Numbers, Dwagon, CRZ, XZ1, 970, and Fujiwara Nomoko. 2 very talented teams, both with rosters who have seen 4-Digit World Cup many a time before, have been in this situation before. They know exactly what they're doing. They know the pressure of this situation they are in right now. Losers bracket match for these 2 teams on the brink of defeat for one of them. Will be going home today, one of these talented teams. We've got our pick and ban phase going right now. First ban for China was No Mod 4. France, 2 bans, DT1 and DT3. And then the final ban for China will be Hidden 3. All of those maps. So we've got Heathens gone. We have Na 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 gone. We have Nelv removed, and then Hidden 3, our final ban, Mind Rider, with the first pick from China being Free Mod 1. Of course, here, Hand of Blood for them. Interested to see the mod compositions for these 2 teams in terms of who's going where. China does have some variability on their mods here that we're seeing. David coming in as that last spot, joined by Kurumi Z Numbers and CRZXC1. We have Team France, their opening roster: Blanc Noir, Kalungi, Mize JD, and Fie. All 4 streams, again, running at the same time right now. So for those of you that are interested in multiple 4WC matches at the same time, please feel free, have all the streams open. Check out what's going on each. The one that you might want to keep track of if you are looking for either of these teams on Malteser's Twitch, South Korea versus Romania, 5th versus 14th seed matchup. But our closest matchup of the weekend here, a 9th versus 10th seed. Also Russia versus Australia, 11th versus 12th seed. 2 very close 1 seed differences. Gonna kick it off here with the first pick from China. It's first to 6 to win best of 11 in the semifinals, and we do see CRZXC1 finding the first break for China here early on in Hand of Blood. 3 minutes and 23 seconds, not going to be the biggest difference in the world. That is a hidden player finding a break, and it will be traded out early by 2 players on France, Lank Noir and Fie. Both finding the breaks. Now it's on the consistency from the remaining 3 players of China in this first quarter here to start giving a bit of an advantage after that initial miss. XZ1 dropping quite a few hundreds on that stream section. Holding the combo, though. It's going to be Kurumi to find a break. 93% accuracy with it. XZ1 holding the combo crucially in spite of that 90% accuracy. An unbelievable downfall from China on that one stream. Longdoor going to be finding another break for France. That's alongside the one from FIA. It's going to help China, but it's not going to be a major difference here. XZ1 FIA matching each other, especially with that accuracy difference on the two. Lol 234 far behind, 95% accuracy, trying to catch up. It is France's advantage. They are going to keep this score lead. It is going to continue going in their favor as XZ1 finds yet another break. Halfway through now, going to come into the next Ki soon. Again, very consistency-oriented. This next stream could be the decider for the map here. Who holds it? Who loses it through the stream? It's Kurumi to drop. It's nobody on France to trade, and Z numbers to find a break for China. Once again, only David Q2 to hold up the score for China right now. The lone warrior, a valiant effort on the hidden from him. As usual, David Q2 been a carry for Team China, I'd say since, what, 2018, 2019? David has just been an absolute force of nature for them. MiceJD does find a break for Team France, but their advantage is infallible right now with these combos on FIA and Kalangi. High accuracies to boot, high 98, almost 99 for Kalangi and FIA, 97.5. David is only really able to match up with that score from FIA here. About 100k advantage off of that combo break. Kalangi just a tiny bit behind because of that no mod advantage there. But in order for China to get back into this map at the ending here, they need to see a double break from FIA and Kalangi before this last Ki, plus some chain misses. And I don't think they're going to see it. It is a break from Mize on the miss there, but with 470,000 score and growing with the, essentially what we can call a borderline double full combo into the last stream section here. That is just going to be it. China looking like their first point all gone. The time has run out. The combo density is no longer there. There's only about 40k left in the bank for David, for China, and that is far less than what France has right now. And our 9th seed proving themselves right out of the gate here. 2.9 million from Team France. A singular miss from FIA to lose the double FC. But a good score at that. Kalangi leading the charge. Only a slider break for Z numbers there. And quite a bit of trouble on the stream sections for Kurumi and XZ1 for China. They're an interesting first pick given the performances of those two right off the gate. The accuracy not super strong as well. So not even like we're just looking at chain misses there. So I do worry for the future of China on their picks if that's how we're looking out of the gate. But maybe just some first map jitters out of the way, getting some warm-up in here, making sure everything is set the way they want it to be as France goes into their first pick now with a breakpoint on the board already. They could be looking to take an early 2-1 lead here as long as they pick appropriately for their strong points. Again, better overall team performance from France there. Best two scorers out of David and Kalangi, so there really hasn't been a solo carry yet in this match for France. David really holding that one down for China, but as long as he's matched by a player on France, China's going to have to rethink their strategy here. Hopefully maybe finding a map that at least 2 to 3 people are better up on. Again, strong teams on both sides here. China with a strong history in 4-Digit World Cup, one of the previous winning teams of this tournament a couple of years back now. France looking for one of their best finishes ever this year, I believe, in 4-Digit World Cup to make it through the semifinals weekend into finals weekend. Should they beat China here, and should they beat the winner of South Korea versus Romania, making it through to that finals weekend for them, getting through to that top 6 is quite the accomplishment, especially for a 9th seed, well outplacing where they are. They're top 12 right now. They just need to win one match to outplace their seed. Winning this match against China would put them in the top 8, giving them a very, very strong hold over the rest of the competition here in terms of seed advantage. We do have the potential for yet another seed upset as well with Russia versus Australia. Both of those teams will be outplacing their seed overall to make it through. this weekend, so great stuff from them. We really love to see it when teams start to really get into things in the later rounds here. As we get into the No Mod 3, we are looking for the first point on the board for France of their own picks. China needs a break point back already. This early on in the match, not something you want to see, an absolutely terrible spot to be in, but there is plenty left. We're looking at 130 BPM. This is a plasma map. It's a little bit snappier. Both teams taking quite a bit of time, actually, to get set up on this one for the No Mod 3. Not entirely sure how much prep we're going through here. France switching quite a few players out. On reset here, good luck, have funs, and there we go into the map. A little switch out for China here on JJ coming in. France going to be keeping majority of the same lineup here. We do see Flavin coming in for that bottom left-hand corner there, but Lank Noir, Fiai, and Kalengi both remaining. And here's that snappy No Mod 3 we were talking about here. Some big wide-angle flow aim style patterns here, but they are snapped at some interesting angles that you do sort of need to snap them. Mixed in with these triangles as well makes it very difficult to go between the flow aim patterns and the ones that require you to snap. As we see France find quite a bit of a breakdown there. Actually, Kalengi, Flavin, and Fiai all finding breaks there. It is Kurumi and Z Numbers to find a break, but it is Kalengi to trade out yet another one of those late breaks. It's JJ and David right now to hold it down for China. They are going to be able to pull this score back in their favor oh so slowly. Only 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Literally any break from either side right now is going to be the difference in this score lead. And as long as these two FCs remain from China, there is a good chance that they're going to be able to take this one, with Flavin finding yet another break, going to send that score flying over to their side. There's one more break from that first timer for this match. Flavin in the bottom left there. Teammates holding it down well. China with a good recovery on Kurumi and Z Numbers. Are they able to hold it into the second half right here? It's one FC on Lank Noir right now as they find the drop. It's Fiai and Kalengi now versus two FCs and two recovery combos on Kurumi and Z Numbers. Kalengi to find the break as well. Lank Noir down at that 100 combo as well, and that is going to be China's game. No way France comes back into this one right now. This is far too gone, far too lost. Both of the FCs dropping for Team China at that. It's actually going to be Z Numbers to keep China into the ending against Fiai right now. Flavin to find a break. Lank Noir with that earlier combo drop. It's Kalengi and Fiai, though, into the ending. Z Numbers, the one saving China right now. Fiai could have absolutely done some serious damage into the ending of this map, given those combo drops on the right-hand side here. JJ with one final break to finish it off, but an unbelievable performance from Z Numbers, clutching up for Team China in the ending. Not the top score. That distinction will once again go to David. Kalengi with the S rank for France, but the top score going to Fiai with an unbelievable performance, 3 100s, and only a singular miss, matched by none other than David. Kurumi, stellar accuracy as well, just not able to hold the combo quite as well. And Z Numbers with that stellar ending performance to kick it up for the team on that recovery, going to make all of the world for China. They're a break point immediately back for them. They are on the board. France with no advantage as the 9th seed, and this match going to live up to what we are expecting for a 1 seed difference. As we are joined now by Dio, running on 15 Advil and 6 bottles of codeine cough syrup. How are we doing? How are we doing now? doing slightly better now. I'm absolutely still sick, but I'm here, and it doesn't hurt quite as much if I speak low like this. So
I'll be here on the map pool scenes at the very least, just to talk about potential next pick strategy, those kinds of things. China, though, not going to give me too much of an opportunity to discuss that. They're just going to go with the Hard Rock 2 time limit. This one, if memory serves, I mean, this is a 4-minute long precision Hard Rock pick that's about 185 BPM. It's a lot of things built into one, but it's primarily kind of mechanics and a little bit of low aim finger control built into this one. That's most of what this map is doing, which I think after the free mod 1 is maybe a little bit odd to see China pick into. But if they are going to go for this, I think maybe just leaning a bit more on the Hard Rock roster. France, a very good hidden country in this tournament, but not quite as strong on the Hard Rock only.
Funny thing to hear said, because back in the land before time, when I played 4-Digit World Cup, France was a demonic Hard Rock team. They had an unbelievable roster for precision and gimmicky Hard Rock, and that was just all that they were able to show up for every week. You could count on France being great at Hard Rock. So the fact that China's able to find an advantage on Hard Rock 2 versus them, especially, like you said, consistency, precision, not a skill set that a lot of people are really strong at. A select couple people. We're starting to get that concentration a little bit higher now that we're in the semifinals weekend. But we're really going to be looking for, I think, a star performer from both teams on this map. And I'm interested to see how David does on this. He's been the #1 player for China on every single map thus far. Without fail, the best performing, if not the highest scoring through these first two here. And we're also seeing Kalengi subbing out, who has been one of the better players for France on some of these maps. But we do still have Fiai, we do still have Long Noir, we do still have Flaven. Druxarda does elude me a bit on their Hard Rock ability, so I'm interested to see how they do as a first map performer here.
Yeah, and I think it just really speaks to this being a solid pick for China. Anytime you can get kind of the main solid performers out of the lobby for the other team, you're generally doing pretty well for yourselves in terms of pick strategy. And getting Kalangi out of the lobby for France, I think, is very solid for China in particular. It's why in the OS World Cup, for example, anyone picking into China, you always try to get Milk Tea and Crystal out of the lobby. You try to get David and Kurumi out of the lobby here, though I doubt that's ever going to happen in this matchup specifically. But yeah, as you said, teams change over time. This France roster in particular is an incredibly good hidden team, especially, but not quite as solid on the Hard Rock, especially Hard Rock Precision. So let's see how well China can abuse that and abuse, I think, their own strength. More importantly, they have a lot of very solid Hard Rock players, not necessarily Hard Rock specialists, but if you play with Milk Tea in OWC, if you play with Milk Tea and Crystal in OWC, you better learn some Hard Rock. So I think the other members who are in both of those tournaments are probably just good by exposure at this point.
I agree, and we're already starting to see the effects of the 6.5 early on here. Flaven and David both finding breaks. Clean ACK on both right now. They weren't messy breaks. Again, low intensity map here, so we're really not going to be seeing a lot of chain missing to throw things off. But again, that miss from David there, that's the essence of consistency, precision, right? It's being able to put your cursor in the right spot for 4 minutes straight. And for a lot of players at this star rating, even if this wasn't precision, that is a task that not every player is always up to the task of. Especially with some of these players being their first map in, or maybe just switching off of another mod. We've seen David in for 2 maps thus far, but we haven't really seen him in for anything precision oriented. We saw him on the hidden for the free mod, and then the no mod 3 was really snappy and high intensity. This map, very low intensity, very wide angle, very awkward aim. It's a completely different skill set and what you're looking for from a player, and it's tough to be comfortable on that when you haven't been playing that skill set to get used to it. As Z Numbers now finds a break for China, it is down to Kurumi, who I do have to say has not had a fantastic match so far if you look at the first 2 maps here. So this is really going to be Kurumi's time to shine. Everyone knows he's good at precision. Everyone knows Kurumi is good at Hard Rock. It's time to see old Kurumi come back. It's time to see Kurumi really show everyone what he is good at and has hopefully not literally disconnected from the lobby as I freaking say this, because that would be absolutely insane. Little bit of internet issues for Kurumi right now. And 970 and David. Okay, so this is just... Like, this just has to be client, right? Like, there's no way 3 players on China have all...
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna panic and see. Oh, wait, no. Okay, they're back.
Oh,
they're back.
Okay,
all right.
We're in.
Nope, they're still going, but maybe it's client. I don't know. It's done it again. Let's just try panicking. Let's just try panicking one time here.
As long as the MP link shows it at the end, I think we're safe. But some serious internet issues for China right now.
Yeah, it's still going in the MP link, and I think we're just waiting for 970 to catch up right now. Yeah, just waiting for 970 to catch up, which... Okay. Now I think we're... And, goodbye to everyone's FCs except for 970 and Drexarda, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Wait, something is broken here. Look at Kurumi. Wait, look at
he has 20k.
Something might be missing here. Okay, wait.
Okay, well there we go. Whoa! Actually, Kurumi's still FCing. Hold on a second. China, they've actually done it. They pulled it back from I think like a 300,000 score lead or something like that, right? I mean, that was pretty massive for France at one point during that match, but now China, they've done it. They've got matching full combo Kurumi in particular.
Oh, he just went up another 100k in one note.
Oh my god! This is insane. Well, there goes Drexarda, and there goes France's chances of winning the map. Why are they up by 1 million team score now? What has happened? Did Drexarda DC at the end of the map? Is that what happened? What is going on with the client, man? Okay.
Since when can you pause an ocean?
Okay, his client just restarted. Anyway, on the MP link, that's a win by 330k for China. Full combo for Kurumi. No full combo, unfortunately, for Drexarda. Missed right at the end, but yeah, still very, very solid for France. I mean, good attempt at clawing it back, but just not meant to be, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh, what a map that was, and Kurumi living up to the expectations for the Hard Rock. You know, I kind of mentioned he had a bit of a slow start to this match. Those first 2 maps are very uncharacteristic of Kurumi. You do not normally see him underperforming in tournament matches. So to see a 400k into a 500k on the first 2 maps was a little unfortunate, but man, Kurumi ready to go, ready as strong as ever. And France now back to their own pick. We've lost the break point. We are basically just back on track for this match now as France goes into their pick that they could potentially win for their own here. China did take their second pick. Now France to take their second, hopefully. You mentioned that France is pretty good at the hidden maps. I do wonder if they're going to hold those for a little bit longer. I do think Hidden 1, if they're a good hidden team, is a far better pick than a Hidden 2. I do think China is significantly stronger as a contender when it comes to like rhythm AR8 hidden than they would be in terms of like a Hidden 1 slider aim sort of pick. Completely different style. And we are going to see the free mod 3 from France.
And I am going to be stepping out for Suicune so that I don't have to talk anymore. So
Dio doesn't love me anymore.
Yeah, goodbye. We're getting divorced.
Damn.
See you later.
What the fuck?
It's over.
Abusive. Abusive, Suicune. Abusive.
My bad.
Yeah, it's definitely your fault. Definitely your fault.
Definitely my fault. Good morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Suicune. What are your expectations for this match? You just got here. You've had a chance to see a little bit of what's gone on so far in the first 3 maps. What are your sights set on for the remainder here?
Hopefully the client doesn't break again like it did on that Hard Rock 2.
Damn, we're setting the bar low here at 8 a.m. on a Saturday. This is what we deal with, everyone. This is what we've come to. Oy, oy, oy. Oy, oy, oy. Well, while we're waiting for this match to start for France, we can get some ideas of what we're going to be looking for in terms of the mods between these two teams. I would like to inform everyone else here that is interested in the follow-up match to this that Australia is currently up 3-0 on Russia over on the A stream. So if you're interested in who is going to be facing the winner of this match, seems likely Australia right now.
Yeah,
Who is the lower seed?
Yeah, granted by 1, but you know, it still would be an upset. I find that. Do I find that surprising? I'm not entirely sure. I'm trying to see where Russia. I'm trying to find like Russia's results from last week. Oh, they lost.
Both have very good rosters. They both have very good rosters this year. Australia with a lot of like newer age tournament players for them, which I think is great. It gives them a fresh outlook on the tournament. It really has, you know, that energy you get when you have a new team for a tournament. It really does do something, you know, as great as it is to have a consistent roster that shows up year in and year out. You know, having that rejuvenated team atmosphere is always very nice for them. And Russia is sort of seeing something similar. They do have a couple of repeat players on here. Definitely more, I think, than Australia does in terms of overall here. But I still think that, you know, that match could potentially turn around. It could go the other direction. You know, we don't really know what it's looking like in terms of Russia on this next pick. It could be a 2-3, or it could be a 1-4. And, you know, we'll see that once they get through their map that they're currently on right now. But France and China is really where our sights are set. The winner of this match facing off against them, as we are on France's second pick now. China was able to take their second pick. Now it's France's turn.
Yeah, pretty much seeing same mods on both sides. No over modding here. 2 hiddens, 1 hard rock for both teams. But we do see some early misses coming out from Kurumi and Fie here. The accuracy advantage pretty heavily, you know, in France's favor, as we do see, you know, even more traded full combos from JJ Numbers and Drixarda.
Well, JJ Drixarda trading is good. The lower accuracy on both there, and Kalangi also finding the break leaves just Long left now halfway through the map. A very high intensity map. There are no breaks here. There goes XZ1 to find the break, 92% accuracy. It's certainly a better trade than Kalangi, but with David now finding the break, it's Long Nora to hold it down, 400k and climbing with 97% ac. It's respectable, but their team is collapsing around them, which is not going to give them a massive safety cushion here. They do have the only FC remaining, which means that France will take this point if nothing else happens, but there is not a lot of support going on here. It's Drixarda going up against Kurumi and JJ, both with 400 combos, plus now 500 for Kurumi as we come into this next section. If Lonknor finds a break for any reason, this is going to go towards China rather quickly.
It's so scary seeing Lonknor hold the FC.
Oh, no!
He finally drops on the slider break. I'm wondering if it might be too late. JJ does find the drop. Drixarda goes as well. It's only...
Oh, it's not too late.
Kurumi... Oh, it's definitely not too late. Kurumi is buying this back.
It's going to be so close. Dude, it's 20. It's 10. Over. It's 5. It's 556, 570 points.
Oh, that's heartbreaking for France there. Lonknar had such a good performance on that map up until the slider break. The top score in the lobby on Hard Rock, no less. You guys saw like just how difficult that map is for, you know, the rest of the players in the lobby. For Lonknar to, you know, get that kind of score with Hard Rock is insane. It's just the recovery from David and Kurumi to just barely claw it back at the end there and get that break point. Oh, it's so tragic for the side of Team France.
France with their dreams absolutely crushed on their second pick by China. Kurumi with an unbelievable step up in the ending of that map. That combo all the way through to the finish was the difference maker. Alongside JJ down at the bottom there, actually both of them holding when everyone else on France was collapsing, when it was just Lonknoir holding that full combo. They were there matching it, quietly waiting for the opportunity to get back in, and China, by the smallest of margins, quite literally, takes that point, and France will not be able to secure their second pick, which now gives China the opportunity to consolidate a break point here. France, they started this match off with a break point, and look at where they are now. China with a beautiful recovery off of a rocky start to this match. And if they're able to continue it into 4-1 here, that is going to be very dangerous for Team France as we get Saite as the next pick for Hard Rock 1. It's Iron Cat, it's a Hard Rock 1. You guys know what to expect from this map. It's mechanics, it's 220, only 2.5 minutes though, so not a whole lot of length on this one, not a lot of consistency, more about that high intensity, higher BPM mechanics.
Yeah, it's to put a cherry on top, it's also a Zelk GD on it, so... Oh.
Not comfortable at all. Not an ounce of anything comfortable.
Oh, China have such a prime opportunity to consolidate this break point and give themselves a very nice, 3-point advantage in this matchup.
Well, they are well on their way there. They've looked really good over the past few picks, and despite only winning that last map there versus France by a tiny margin, it does speak volumes to the consistency of China, even by the smallest of margins, even if it was a little bit what some would call luck-based. There really isn't ever any luck in tournaments there, right? You make your own luck. If you play well, and the one FC on the other team drops their combo, that just means you had the better team score. That means you were just more ready with your entire roster than the other team was. And France not having anyone to back up Blanc Noir at the ending of that map was really sort of the unfortunate part of that, rather than the score difference there. So, as much as we hate to see it for France, we want to see this match go on and carry through the entire duration to see what the best of both of these teams have to offer. Is China is seriously creating their own opportunities with their roster overall here. And we're looking for more continued performances on this Hard Rock, especially from Kurumi, who has definitely been their star Hard Rock player in this match so far. Not necessarily on their first two maps, but both of the previous, the Free Mod and the Hard Rock Precision pick, we have seen Kurumi put up the scores that we want him to there. We're just looking for a step up for the rest of the roster on this one. A little bit on the faster side does make this a bit more uncomfortable from France to get off of the mechanics range here as we now load in 2.5 minutes. Let's see if China can take that breakpoint consolidation.
Yeah, it's going to be Kurumi, David at 970, and Z numbers, hopefully 970, maybe not connected to the map. Okay, it appears that, 970 has not loaded in for us. Whether, 970 is, actively playing, it's always a possibility with, the Chinese players. Oh,
I would assume he's playing if we hadn't aborted, but we did get the abort, so there it is. I am not in. Thank you, 970.
Yep. But all players being chill with it. Let's really hope to get 970 in the map this time on this next playthrough. The side of France, is Mais JD, Flavin, Blanc Noir, and Fie to try to get a breakpoint back on this pick. You don't want to be 3 points down this late into a match.
Not ideal. Not ideal, to say the least. I do think France has a good opportunity to take a point back. I do question their ability to do that on a speed aim focused Hard Rock one with how China has been playing on these sort of maps thus far. Flavin also struggled on some of the speedier parts of a couple of the No-Mod 3s and otherwise that were maybe telltales that this map might not be going super well for France, as Blanc Noir actually drops a significant amount of accuracy, as well as Mais JD, both of them at 94%. Flavin Fi at 97, 96 as well. The only person with good ac right now is David, and it is making a world of difference right now over the next closest combo. He's up 15k basically within the first couple seconds of the map already. So that 99% is going to be massive for China as long as they can hold the combos to combat France here. And Z Numbers having quite a bit of trouble, luckily for China. So is Long Noir with that 94%. And again, these accuracies not going to matter quite as much with 970 down at 94%, but as long as they hold that FC, it is going to help. Barely hitting the space part as Mize JD falls.
Yeah, Long Noir is unfortunately just struggling on this, only just now cresting, you know, the 100k, and VA support is gone. Flavin goes down once again, found a break early at the start, and, you know, with that recovery down, you know, it's VA versus, you know, 3 FCs and recovery from Z Numbers. Chillier, it's already a 250,000 score lead for Team China, halfway through the map.
The odds on this one right now, I do have to say, a miss before that slowdown section. Z Numbers really seems to be the only one on China struggling with some of these more space patterns here. The 1/3's really catching them out pretty hard. 970 does over-aim that one burst there, which is not amazing considering their accuracy, but given this map only 2.5 minutes total, we have a third of it left, leaving us with about 45 seconds going in here to a double FC on China, a singular FC on FI right now with a little bit of backing, but is it 348k of backing? I don't know. However, it is certainly going to be enough now that David has found a break at the ending. 280k and falling. It's FI versus LOL234. Can Kurumi hold it down for China? Flavin finds another break. It's Mize JD and Long Noir. 970 finds a break as well. It's Z Numbers, 240k and falling. I don't think there's going to be enough time at the ending because Kurumi has held this down for Team China, but it's certainly going to be rather close into the ending with the note density on this map. There's about 100,000 score left for FI as he finds a break. And I do actually think it may have been doable if Long Noir hits about 560k at the ending here. It may have been doable, but it looks like they just would have come up short. 175k for China into the ending, and Kurumi with an unbelievable performance. 1 million yet again on a Hard Rock, strutting his stuff out here as one of the long-standing, highest-performing Chinese players that they've had. And one more on the board, another break point consolidated for China as they now go up 4-1.
Kurumi is on fire on this one. That is, I believe, the second, you know, FC for Kurumi on, you know, for the at least in this Hard Rock pool. Yeah, very solid stuff. A valiant effort from FI there to, you know, match Kurumi as long as they did. But, you know, unfortunately, one did fall at the end, and two, just not having the support that they needed for, or at least to make that pick just that tad bit more competitive. At the end, it was still a solid, you know, 70,000 score lead for China, and while it wasn't like as dominant as we saw earlier on in the map, you know, it's still a pretty healthy score lead for a 44, you know, team tourney.
The team difference for China thus far in this match on all the maps that they've won. I mean, they lost Hand of Blood on a far better performance from Team France, but immediately going into Glitter, it was 262,000 score difference, and the top score of the match was on Team France. They won time limit by 334k. The top score of the match on Team China was only 100k higher than France, which means that they still had 234k after that. On Black Glass, they won by 570, despite the top score on Team France being 135,000 score higher than the top score on Team China. And then same thing with Saite here, only 100,000 score difference between the top score of China and France, leaving them with 75k difference. So that was actually the closest map we've seen in terms of the number one difference, besides that 570 score difference on Black Glass, where France had the top score anyway. So China is really just going through with their entire roster right now. This is not a solo carry match. This is all of China going in and knowing what they're good at, knowing what France is going to be able to put up and setting their expectations properly. And now we are finally seeing some hidden come out of France here. They are going to go for the hidden two that I personally thought was maybe going to be a little bit more contested than the hidden one, but with how strong France is at the hidden map pool, I certainly wouldn't count them out for a single thing.
Yeah, very strong they are indeed. We do have, I believe this is a custom from Kuroshi and Asuka for this tournament. Administrator's Logic. Good old AR8. Map in hidden here. I think this is going to be the first time we're seeing, reading be tested in this match so far. And France have some good reading players on their side. We're seeing Kalongi already in this lobby. One of the names I'm keeping an eye out for the side of Team France on this one.
I don't know what to look out for on France on this one. Everyone is just so good at these hidden picks that I really can't count out a superstar performer here. I mean, Kalengi definitely up there, one of the best performers for this skill set on France. Maybe they're number one. Kalengi maybe they're number one on this map. But there's going to be a lot good to come out of both of these teams here. China, my eyes are going to be drawn to David on this one, personally. I would be significantly surprised if David was not in for this. Definitely one of the better reading players that they would have, especially for something like this as an AR8. A little more consistency based at just over 3 minutes. But he was definitely their better hidden player earlier on the free mods, hoping to get something in here for France now. This is what I would say is their last opportunity to really gain a foothold back into this match. If they let a breakpoint slip here, that's China 5-1, and that might just be it for France if they let that point come. That's match point with 4 in a row that you now need before China is able to even pick up one, and that's a lot of pressure. So, best of luck to France.
Yeah, a lot of pressure indeed. We'll see if they're able to hold
everyone
up
does.
as...
Everyone does.
Yeah, goodbye to every single FC on the side of Team France. Honestly, China didn't fare much better on that pattern either, as everybody besides XZ1, broke there. So pretty much just a full reset across the board. XZ1, the only FC remaining, but down at 95% means he's not getting too much of a score advantage for, Team China, as Fujiwara finds a few more breaks in this beginning section to match Fi.
I am not super concerned about the early breaks. They were all extremely early on in the map and on a very difficult square pattern of the intro. There's a first set of our stacks there. It does catch Kurumi off guard. So it's XZ1 and David now versus what I would say is the equivalent to a trio from France here. You've got Kalengi and Mize matching, and then Fi and Druxarda, who are a little bit behind, but I'd say both of them equate to another player. So China really down on, I'd say, 1 person right now, maybe coming close to 2 as long as these combos continue to drop on Kurumi and Fujiwara, because as Fi and Druxarda continue to drop now they are far more than 1 player, right? That's a reset for Fujiwara and Kurumi yet again, which means that XC1 and David are now just matching Kalengi and Mize, and as David finds a break, well, that's just going to be all of China's advantage gone. Fi does trade it out, but as long as Kalengi and Mize are holding right now, there's nothing they can do. Mize, 98.5% accuracy. XZ1, not too bad at 96%, but it's certainly not going to be nearly enough to go up against this onslaught from France right now, unless we see a triple break at this halfway mark.
Yeah, but
there goes XZ1.
There goes, yeah, XZ1 goes down. The combo game is no longer combo gaming. Mize does trade it out at the end, but with Kalangi still, unmatched on it. I didn't say anything.
Yeah. Yep. Nothing at all.
Nope.
Oh boy. Well, Druxarda holding down a 650 combo right now. It's a 300,000 score lead for France. There's a quarter away left in the map, and nobody on China seems to be able to hold a combo. I'd say this one is all but lost for them. France with a second point on the board, more than likely 99.99% chance here, unless a complete meltdown happens and Druxarda stops playing or something. And even then, I don't actually believe China has the combos to make that comeback should the opportunity be presented to them. So David, try as he might with this 500 combo. XC1 finds another break. Fujiwara finds another break. Kurumi holding a little bit of a combo right now, but it's David to drop the biggest one there, and Druxarda is really just going to send France into the finish here. And an overall better performance for Team France. Again, not a solo carry. I mean, look at every single player on their team is basically within 50k of one another. Druxarda missing at the ending here, going to actually send the top score over to what seems to be Mize with the 500 combo into the ending. Fi also going to pull up about 550k at the end. This might actually just be like a 10k difference on every player on France, by the way. From the number 1 score on France to the bottom score on France was 38,000 score. That is a tight-knit team score, and great for the consistency of Team France there. A little bit of a morale boost as well. To win a map by 684k is a pretty significant margin. That is irrecoverable amounts of score in a 4v4, especially on a map of that length right there. So that, I mean, that's more than a full player of difference there. The highest score in the entire match was 593k, which means that they needed almost 100k on top of that in order to make up the difference there. So China needed 1.25 more players.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we saw. I mean, the client saw, another early Druxarda leave, but it didn't. It doesn't matter when the score is that much for the overlay, that the score difference is that much that the 3v4 still gives the lead over to France. But a very solid pick here from France. And, Chillier, you mentioned it, very solid hidden team. I mean, it should give them, more confidence to, potentially pick into that hidden one as, the match continues to go on. And you also kind of see, just how good, this France team is on, reading compared to China. So I do believe it should, in theory, leave that Fremont 2 pick potential for them as well.
China does have a Hard Rock left right now, and a lot of the DT pool is still open, but I don't think... Oh, no, they do go for the DT too early. Okay, so they do go for Inigaku plant here, and I mean, even for after this, if France decides to go for the hidden one, I do think that is still a perfectly viable pick. It seemed like China was actually struggling more on the aim sections of that hidden 2 than they were on the reading. Granted, Administrator's Logic isn't necessarily a hard reading map. It's just AR8, so it's awkward, it's dense, it's really uncomfortable if you're not, really ready for what that map has to throw at you. But we're going into something completely different now with the double time 2. We are going into stamina. That's right, 227 BPM stamina, 2 minutes and 19 seconds, and this is the type of skill set that for a very, very, very long time I would have pinned China as one of the better teams in 4-digit World Cup in all history of 4-digit World Cup on this sort of skill set. So for them to pick this map now really makes me wonder, are they ready? Are they back for this sort of skill set? Are they ready with their roster all the way through? Traditionally, again, has been the case. I'm not entirely sure France has the facilities to match up with China on a pick like this. I don't know how they fare against a team like China on stamina DT. I'd say for speed-wise, France has not looked the strongest today on a lot of the higher BPM aim mechanical items in the pool. So I do think that gives a slight advantage to China based on track record so far.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think France was also the team to ban, the DT1, DT3.
Yep, it's true. So, not the best for them, perhaps, here. They're just letting us know ahead of time that maybe we don't want to play this sort of thing, which is totally fine. That's totally fine. Not everyone can have every skill set in here. And China going to be hopefully confident on this one, not let too many points slip away here. Again, one break point back, and that's 3-4, and that's France's pick to potentially consolidate getting this match back on track. So, France, despite being quite a bit behind, is not too far away from coming back into things. I would like to also update everyone here to let you know that the winner of this matchup will be facing off against South Korea, who has defeated Romania 6-2. So Romania now out of the tournament in the semifinals losers bracket, round 4. as the 14th seed. By making it to this round, they did already outplace their seed overall, so well done to Romania, but we will be saying goodbye to them. And hello to South Korea for our next match in this series tomorrow. But right now, we still need to determine our winner before we can even get to that point. We have just a little bit left to go. Just a tiny bit left to go in this match, especially if China is able to get their own point right now. Looking for any of the telltale signs of being uncomfortable at the start, and JJ is exhibiting them right now. You don't want to see an early act drop on a stamina DT map, right? These maps are not complex. They are all about your mechanical ability. And to drop accuracy early is an unbelievably bad sign, especially with a double break from China. It is traded by KC Aqua, but everyone on France holding the stamina. The accuracy is good. Nobody looks like they're shaking yet. It all looks very strong, very calm, cool, collected. And it's just David with the high accuracy to find the break here. That's really the major difference maker for China right now. KC Aqua does find a couple of extra breaks, but China needs one more from France, and it's going to be from Nessie. David does trade it out, but that matters more for France than it does for China.
Yeah, that extra FC being down means, the FCs are a match, and with JJ getting that recovery combo back up, it's going to stem the bleeding a little bit. JJ's accuracy still down, at that 95, still showing signs of discomfort. Flavin finds that break, and that one's not traded by anybody on the side of Team China. And they take that score lead just barely by 6,000 at this break section, with the double FC still intact from Z Numbers and Dwagon.
That is a tragic miss from Flavin, but Dwagon misses on absolutely nothing into the next section, dropping hundreds all over the place, giving an unbelievable advantage over to France compared to what the score lead was before. It's only 30,000 points, and it's all on Z Numbers into the ending against My's JD right now. If JJ finds a break on this combo, if Z Numbers, if David finds a break, one of these players misses, it could potentially go back over to France at the ending. KC Aqua finds a break. It's very, very close. There goes Z Numbers. There goes Z Numbers, but it's matched by JJ and My's JD. They're so close. KC Aqua continues to find misses, giving advantage over to China. I think they may have held it into the ending. It's a Nessie break. It's an Aqua and Z Numbers break, and into the ending, it's just enough for China. David and JJ to hold it down. Z Numbers, a valiant start to the map. 97% accuracy, and My's JD with the highest score in the lobby, but China as a team holds it down and once again performs better as a four-man roster than France to give themselves yet another point, put themselves on match point, and France down 2-5 as the higher seed in this matchup, just one map away from losing.
It's that team performance again, Chillier. You can see, everybody, I believe everybody on Team China, at least above that 600k mark at the end there. Yeah, just barely everybody on Team China, above 600k. Meanwhile, Nessie almost hitting that mark, but is unfortunately just KC Aqua not having, the best time on that. And, despite, My's JD's best efforts, just not enough. This is we're not at the point where, solo carries like that can really decide, the outcomes of a map, unfortunately. And while it looked good for France at the start, unfortunately just not able to hold it down at the ending, or, past that halfway point. And China, they do take their pick. A little bit scary, perhaps, for them, but the pick they win nonetheless. They at least will guarantee themselves the tiebreaker as they await France's next pick here.
Well, potentially the final pick for France. If China is able to continue winning their own maps here, this will be France's final map. So they do need to win this and a break point in order to follow it up. It is Doku. They do go for the hidden one like expected. I mentioned it, I think, one or two picks into this match, that they would probably save the hiddens for a little bit later if necessary, and it looks like they are using them now. China did struggle on the awkward aim of the hidden too, and Doku certainly has no shortage of that. Does throw in a couple of sliders as well. It's it's a very dense hidden map, despite the AR and despite the stats of this map would lead you to believe it's because of the high BPM. It really does have a lot to sort of crush into a very small amount of space. And 2 minutes and 40 seconds does leave a little bit of consistency to be found here as well with some of the key eye sections. We're going to be looking for France to get just one more on here. This is going to be their gateway into the rest of this match right now. If they can take this into the break point against China, they are well into the running here. But even if they are able to win those two, they need to find one more after that, and this pool is slowly getting quite small.
Yeah, it's getting quite small indeed, but I do if my math is mathing, at, this early hour, it would be China's last pick if France wins this. So it's pretty much all on France at this point, to be honest. Like, you have to win this one. You have to win your own pick, get the 3rd point on the board, win on, China's pick to get the break point back, and then you have to get to tiebreaker by winning your own pick again. So a lot of pressure here on the French side to, try to claw this back to tiebreaker after being, down, 2-5. So we get final player swaps in here. In for this hidden one. France hoping to at least get the point back. China to see if they can get this break point and shut out France's dreams in this tournament.
An early lead from France up on a break point on the first point of this match. To being down by 3 is certainly not a turnaround that I think many people expected. We're hoping to see this match continue for just a little bit longer. If France is able to take their own map here, it does at least give them the opportunity to take the break point against China, and that's sort of why I was emphasizing that point, right? Is that China is not a terrible hidden team overall. They're just not super strong with some of that density, which is why they lost the hidden too. So France needs to win their own pick to even have the chance at taking a break point against China, let alone getting to that point, and they need to win another one after that. So that's sort of why we talk about these early leads being so instrumental, right? France needs to win 3 picks without faltering. China just needs to get one of those. And it's a second break from Kalengi, very uncharacteristic, not expecting them to find a miss this often. Fi going to find a break traded out with Kurumi, but that's fine because Kurumi found the early break for China as well. So that's a new FC lost for the same player dropping combo twice. VA does drop another set of combo there. It wasn't too much. It was basically just that 150 that they gained through that section there. But it's not looking super good for France right now. VI continuing to find breaks. Luckily for France, however, VI does have stellar accuracy. It's 1% higher than Kurumi, who is the next closest scoring player right now, as Kalengi does also find a bit of a recovery here. So it's Drixarda and Mize versus the trio from China, and all 3 of them with decent accuracy. XZ1 struggling the most as Kalengi drops on yet another slider. Kalengi, please tell me you are not slight reading this.
There goes Z numbers, though, so, the bleeding...
it has not stopped anymore.
It's not
Bye,
stopped.
Drixarda. Goodbye, Drixarda.
It's looking grim here, Chillier, for the side of Team France. There's about a quarter of the map remaining, and with the double FC still intact for Team China, it's...
What double from France? Oh, triple! No! Oh, it's 4! France has completely collapsed! It's David!
And David to hold down the fort. He finally finds a drop, but it doesn't matter. Kurumi has the next highest combo, 700 on the recovery there to shut it out, seal the deal. They're not going to give France the opportunity to stage some incredible comeback. They want this match to be done with, and off a very solid team performance once again from the side of Team China, they are going to eliminate France this year from the 4-digit World Cup 2025. It's a almost 500,000 score lead for China on this hidden one. And they move on to face South Korea.
What a stellar team performance from China today. 6 points to 2 after being down on the first map of the match speaks volumes about their composure, their consistency, and the overall performance of this team today is going to give South Korea perhaps a run for their money, despite being a 5th versus 10th seed matchup coming on tomorrow. But that is going to do it for this block of matches. I believe almost all of them done right now. We are going to be raiding the A stream as soon as possible because Australia versus Russia is just one map away from potentially going to tiebreaker. So we're going to end it quickly here for you all. Please join us again tomorrow for all of the remaining losers bracket matches. That's going to be South Korea versus China and the winner of Russia, Australia versus Germany, Indonesia. We'll also have our 2 winners bracket matches, United States versus Canada and Sweden versus Poland. Tune in for all of those matches tomorrow, but we're going to send you over to the A stream right now. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you all up there with Florian and Rosie.